The Tarawa has a system of 5 centerline elevators, conveyor lines, and a monorail system to move cargo and supplies. In addition, 2 large elevators move aircraft and equipment from the hangar deck to the flight deck. The flight deck can handle 10 helicopters simultaneously, as well as 8 Harrier jets and 10 Bronco aircraft. Helicopters provide the most rapid and flexible means of landing troops in an amphibious assault. For me, it's back up to the flight deck to learn more about the duties of the flight crew.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing? Aviation Bosun Mate, Mark Serrano. How you doing? Pleasure to meet you.
What's that?
Mark Serrano. You might need to take that off. It's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Make it a little easier for you.
I feel bad with this on, man.
You should.
First of all, what is this awesome thing right here?
Well, this is a old Cobra AH-1. It's met its prime, and now we use it for training.
So back in the day, this thing was it, huh?
Yeah, it's seen a little bit of action. Probably got a couple bullet holes.
Captain McCloskey, is he still around?
No, that was probably the last guy who flew this bird.
Yeah.
Usually throw their names on. It's tradition.
Well, educate me. First of all, why'd they dress me in this stuff? And does the shirt have to be this tight?
Normally, it's good to have long sleeves because of they're flame-retardant shirts made out of cotton. If there ever was a huge fire or crash, this is your first form of protection for your body. And this right here is a flotation device. You fall over, this would save your life.
I was wearing coveralls earlier. Now, what does it mean? Why am I wearing blue now? Is this like flight?
Well, each
color?
job has an indication by their color.
Right.
A blue shirt is a chalk and chain runner. When the aircraft lands, a yellow shirt, a director, would direct a blue shirt in to chain the aircraft. Throw the chain on, secure it to the deck, and step out of the way.
The aircraft must be firmly on deck before it's chained. Tie-down chains are hooked to pad eyes, which are located all over the flight deck. They are then hooked to the aircraft and locked into place. Initially, the chains must be put on with a little slack. If they're too tight, the aircraft will rattle and basically rip itself apart.
So how many birds can you fit on a deck at one time?
If we position them right, a little over 30. About 30, 32. It always depends on what we're doing and where we're at.
Beneath the flight deck, the ship's hull provides housing for thousands of sailors and Marines, with all the amenities of a small city.
Wow, so this is where they sleep 3,500 people. Yeah, this works out quite nice for me. Privacy. Spending the time today with the crew from the USS Tarawa has showed me the true meaning of the word team. 1,100 men and women watching each other's back, making sure at the end of the day each one of them come home safely. And the crew's tough too, because their job is basically to sail behind enemy lines and deploy our Marines and our Humvees and our helicopters and defend our freedom and do whatever it takes to protect our country. Tarawa serves as a bridge between power and struggle, success and failure. And it's just like one of the seamen told me today. If you're ever in need, call on the big fish of the sea. Call on Big T. This is where it all starts. And when I say this, I mean steel. Good old American steel. I'm in Claymont, Delaware at the Claymont Steel Facility. I'm gonna turn this bare yard of scrap metal into giant slabs of steel.
Steel can be recycled multiple times without sacrificing quality or strength. That's why it's one of the most recycled materials on the planet. The Claymont Steel Mill has been making plate steel for almost a century at this 425-acre facility. Today, we're going to see how they do it.
I'm here now with Jeff Bradley, CEO of Claymont Steel. Jeff, first tell me about the history of Claymont Steel. When was it established?
Steel making here goes back to 1918. We've made steel here for 90 years almost.
Really?
Claymont Steel is a custom niche plate producer. We make plate steel, which is the thick stuff that goes into things like bulldozers and heavy equipment and rail cars and bridges, really the infrastructure that has built this country.
So today, I know I'm going to be working with your guys, seeing the process, but what can I expect overall out of the day today?
Right. First of all, you're going to see a lot of guys working very, very hard here.
Right.
You're going to feel a lot of heat, a lot of noise, and it should be a great day for you.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
All right, my friend, let's go.
process begins with scrap metal being brought to the mill. 150 truckloads every day. The scrap is weighed, then graded and sorted for quality. Larger pieces are cut down to a more manageable size, and then the scrap is sent into the melt house.
Randolph, you're the general manager of the melting department, right?
Yes.
So this, from my understanding, this is basically how you take scrap and make it into steel, right?
Yes, this is the raw process.
That's just the scrap on a magnet crane, right?
Yeah, and those magnets can carry about 4,000 pounds of scrap itself.
So how long does this whole process take?
It usually take about an hour and a half. The good crane operators can load 3 buckets for the process. We send 3 buckets to the furnace. The buckets itself, they weigh about 40 ton. We have plus or minus a few tons, depending on the repairs that we do to them.
I mean, is this just scrap that didn't make it in the bucket?
Yes. Like what we're going to do, we call this cleanup. We eventually, at the end of the shift, clean that up and put it in the bucket and then get it to the AF.
What's the AF?
Electric arc furnace.
Inside the electric arc furnace, the scrap is melted down by 3 graphite electrodes. An electrical charge arcs or jumps from the electrode tips to the metal. The electrodes heat up to nearly 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, about half the temperature of the sun's surface.
And those electrodes only last 24 hours because it gets so hot and they melt away. That's where the power is right there, baby.
Each of these buckets hold 3 tons of scrap metal. The actual melting is best viewed from inside the crane that hoists the buckets.
Is this going to be like nothing I've ever seen before? Should I be nervous?
No.
This is definitely out of my comfort zone. Oh my God. She just opened the mouth of the furnace and she, oh my God. This is unbelievable. She just dropped the scrap in there and flame just went rising like 70 feet in the air. The degrees in here went up about 20, 30 degrees. That was awesome, Mama. Woo! That was crazy.
When the electrodes are at work, sparks and the popping and splattering of molten metal are routine sights.
This step in the steel-making process is called pouring. Now that is molten steel. The electrodes have been in, they've melted it down to a feverishing 3,000 degrees. Now what's gonna happen after this is they're gonna make them into giant slabs. They tell me I gotta wear these if I wanna look at it. This is the best way to view it through these glasses. You can actually see the molten steel being poured into it instead of just looking at a giant glow. That looks awesome, huh?
Once the melted scrap metal reaches 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit, it's poured into a giant ladle.
All right, this is Major. Major is the supervisor for the melting plant. This is a huge thing of molten right next to us. What do we got to do right now?
All right, Matt, right now we're running out of time. Temperature's getting low. We want to add 5 bags. This is called silicon. We want to add 5 bags silicon and then get a temperature real quick so we can get it up there to the other end to make the connection. You want to do a bank shot, just like basketball.
I was never any good. I'm about to heat this place up, baby.
All right, right on in there.
Woo!
The silica will make the finished steel harder and stronger.
That's fine. Now what we need a temperature. Straight on in, just like that.
You can feel it rumbling on your hands.
All right, pull it out. Go ahead, walk straight back.
Will I burn my hands?
No, I got the same gloves on you got. What we're doing now is we're taking a sample. You want to stick it down in there? Back out. Like that. And there's your sample.
Wait a minute, where did the sample come from?
When we stuck this in, the steel gets sucked up into there. And then it cools off, and that's what we get.
Oh, I got you. So essentially,
Temperature.
by far,
Temp.
the hottest I've ever felt in my life. Right now. It's so hot in here.
the paint from the handrails are melting right off on my hands.
Oh yeah, it's a cool day today too.
Yeah.
And now this is the final place, final transition I should say, from liquid to a solid slab. This is going down through the caster, down 2 floors. It's getting blasted with water on all sides. And once it comes out in its final point, it's a slab.
This is the last step of the process. I'm making my way down an 86-foot slab of steel. What's going on right here is they're going to cut it down to 312 inches and then haul it off to the slab yard, which is where we're going. Let's go. Right now, I'm standing on about 200,000 pounds of raw steel, each in separate blocks. Now, each one of these blocks weigh, give or take, about 20,000 pounds. And the only way they can move it is with this huge magnet crane. Now, what the magnet crane will do, it's going to pick these steel blocks up and it's going to place them inside a furnace to reheat them and roll them out to the specific size that the client wants. How you doing?
Hey, man. How you doing? I'm Bags.
Bags?
That's right. They call me Mr. B.
That's awesome. Mr. B, because you get to put the stuff in the heater, right?
I feed the furnace, and I also stack the big stuff.
Each slab has its own ID number, indicating length, weight, grade, and location.
When they go in the furnace, they have to go in according to the heat numbers that they have and the control room has.
And then that guy on that side, what does he do?
He's the furnace coordinator. He just tells me how far I am from either side. Because it has to push through the furnace evenly. Because if it hit the wall or turns inside the furnace, it'll tear the furnace apart. Come on, man.
There you go. Bags works 12-hour shifts in this crane and he never leaves it. The way he gets his new paperwork is just like this. Heads up. There it goes, buddy. All right, Bags, here's what we got.
New paperwork.
There you go. Lower her down, magnet on. Hit the siren, boys. We're moving.